darling Fumi Nation. How are you? How are we? My name is Fumidesaluvold. For those of you that are stopping by for the very first time, you're so very welcome indeed. Are we loving the wig? It is a glueless frontal when I tell you I am living and loving. I've had this wig for about 2-3 months. I wash it, I curl it, I just brush it, and darling, we are good to go. There is nothing better than having a wig from the Virgin Hair Fantasy. When I tell you, she is just simply amazing and I live for it. These are what I travel with, and yes, my darlings, I have my braids underneath. The dress is an old dress. It's a dress from Mango. It's my travel dress. I love to wear this dress when I'm going to the airport because it's dressed and it's comfortable. So let me just show you. There you go. So it's very 1950s, 1960s, and then these heels I live and love. They are in collaboration with Rita Ora, and Primark of all people. But I live and I love. Okay, and then I'll come a little bit closer in and then you can see I love the fact that it's that gorgeous brown nude and it's clear on top, so it goes with a lot of stuff. Puff Daddy has his head in his hands, crying, thinking to himself, what have I done? My life. He's out in Star Island in Miami, and a lot of people are saying that the pictures look staged. I don't care if they look staged. I don't care if it's real. What I do know is that his life, the way that he had it before, will be no more. He settled a lawsuit, as we very well now know, for an unsettled amount with Cassie Ventura, also known as Cassandra Ventura, his girlfriend of about 13 years, who released a statement with a 35-page court order document revealing the most horrendous, unbelievable, jaw-dropping, mouth-to-the-floor, Google-eyed content that was so profound that it even had a trigger warning in red on the court document. That tells you what was in it. I read it once, I read it twice, because I went to bed and I woke up the following day, of which I was shocked and surprised because they had even settled, but we'll get to that in a minute. And I said to myself, I believe her. The first episode that I did, I said, Fumi, wait. And I really went in the direction of my beautiful daughters. This industry is not for the light-hearted. Show business is not for the light-hearted. It's a completely different kind of beast. And we'll get into that further down. It takes certain people to survive this kind of business. And it was all kinds of triggering for me because I don't know what kind of naivete I had. But do you remember the film which was released this summer called The Sound of Freedom? I knew there was trafficking. I did not know there was trafficking of children. And it scares me. And I stop every single time when I see a child. Are you okay? Where's your parent? Sometimes they're in the car or they're a little bit further back. Because in my wildest dreams, I will never ever understand how you can traffic children. What kind of human being are you? Cassie put that in the deposition, how she had been trafficked in different countries with different escorts. And I kept on thinking to myself, what kind of a human being does that to somebody that you say you love? What kind of a human being does that to another human being? You call it a freak off. But as far as I'm concerned, you are a terribly sick human being and very depraved. And so I said to myself, this does not even scratch the surface. I don't know about you, but ever since I was in my 30s, it started. I wake up at night. I've never really slept throughout the night. I don't anymore. If something comes to me, as it does a lot in my sleep, I have to wake up and write it down because I'll forget it in the morning. So this was me. Things were just coming out, pouring out of me, that felt very, 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 very real. And I said, there's no way, there's just no way Cassie would say this if there were parts of it that were not true. That's the extent that I will go, allegedly, for my lawyers that are part of the Fumi Nation family. I'm listening to you guys. I'm listening to you guys. Anyway, before we deep dive, I want to make a couple of corrections. Cassie did not sue for 30 million. The 30 million came from Puffy's lawyers, from Puffy's camp. Apparently, that was what she was asking for, according to them, allegedly, because she was going to write a book. And they turned it down. And so, I truly believe now that we are on the subject of how much they settled for, I think it was 9 figures. You see, yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's price is what? Is not today's price. I truly believe that Cassie went up in there and said, give me my money. Because you know what? This is going to be a civil court where I can get some coin. Where as I am tormented and I relive this, and you're a public figure where I have to see your sorry self every 5 minutes. I want compensation for damages, for a career that I could have, would have, should have, and don't. For all of the mental, emotional, physical, I want to be compensated. Do I want to be an example, or did I set out, this is Cassie now, set out to be an example for other women in this case? I truly believe that was part of it. And you see, for us women, and some of you might agree or be going through it, the woman that you are in your 20s, let me speak for myself, is not the babe that I was in my 30s. It was for sure not the woman that I was in my 40s. And it is absolutely has no identity to the empress I became in my 50s. The confidence builds. And so all that was going on with Cassie in her 20s, she kind of came together and she was like, you know what? Wait 1 minute. And she went to Puffy. And she told Puffy, compensate me. And Puffy told her to go where the sun don't shine. And she said, is that right? With a wink in her eye, because Puffy really thought she didn't have the kahunas to do it. Thursday morning, it was out there in black and white. That was when he knew that she was goddamn serious. Let me just say a couple of things while we're at it. I had mentioned that Puffy had baby love, of whom we see, and the Combs twins. And I forgot to mention Chance. And I love Chance. I love all of his children. We have grown up seeing all of his children. I think he has 8 children. For sure he has 4 daughters. And yesterday, or was it day before yesterday, King Combs put an homage. When this news was released, he said, I miss you so much. And my heart broke. Because he's just a boy. And I think he was scared as to what was going to happen. He's lost his mom. And he just might lose his dad. I actually stepped into his shoes. And I really felt for him because he was reaching out to his mom. Mama, help me. Help me, please. I'm scared. Puff Daddy paid with a quickness because he had no choice. What he should have done, he should have paid Cassie when she first came around. It would have saved him 70 million. Because I think the payout, I don't know, I'm just guessing, was close to 100 million. Because what happened was when Cassie went over there, allegedly, and said, give me my coin, He said, get out of here. Or do you want another freak off? I'm telling you. And like I said, she said, he don't think I'm serious. Okay. And she went full on blast. With what was damaging enough. But like I told you, and I know for a fact because I got my sources, it was nothing compared to what we did not hear. Or let me say you have not heard, because I've heard some of it. Or let me say I've read some of it. And so he paid. Like I said, he had no choice. As if that wasn't bad enough, Naomi Campbell and Janet Jackson were in London celebrating his birthday. His 54th birthday, as a matter of fact. As soon as the news broke, they took off. They took off. Translation, they deleted the birthday pics with a quickness. I don't want to be involved in this mess. I don't want to be attached to this mess. Because remember that Naomi is still trying to sort of kind of recover from the blood diamonds in South Africa. They subpoenaed the poor child and she had to come up there talking about she really didn't want to be here. She has a very, very busy day and all of that. She's a mother of 2 now. Janet Jackson, she said, you know what? I know what they did to my brother. I don't want no parts of this. They deleted it with a quickness. When you're supposed to stand by a brother, because you're standing by him for his birthday, that, oh, Puffy, you're 54. So they took off. They said, we do not want no parts. And so it was interesting that I did not see any celebrity per se come out in his defense. Why? Not only did I not see major celebrities come out in his defense, I sit here and I tell you, Puffy is not the only one that has been getting away with this. To get away with this kind of long stream of abuse, allegedly, as Cassie had said, you have to have aides, you have to have allies, you have to have people that not only turn the other way, but they also are involved in this. Life has a way of self-correcting itself and us. And like the story of David and Goliath, nobody would have thought that little itty bitty baby Cassie had it in her to take Goliath down. You see, it doesn't matter now if Cassie has an NDA. Doesn't matter. It's out there. What is out there is enough. She doesn't have to go to trial. One painful trial for what? She got her money and she was also able to reflect a certain light. Not only on Diddy, because it will start with him. Or it does start with him, but on the whole industry. And then it gives others that have been abused and wronged license to come forward or to have interviews or drop innuendos here and there. By the time Puffy came back to negotiate, which was literally under 24 hours, yesterday's price no longer met today's price. Because once it hit social media, it went up in flames. I live in London, so I am 6 hours ahead of you from New York, and I am 9 hours ahead of you from Los Angeles. At 6 a.m., I wake up every morning. So we wake up to this news. And so we get the liberty to see it play out all over different social media platforms. And we're like, oh wow. One of the biggest lessons I ever got was the case that Michael Jackson had and how he was accused of do-da-do, because this is, YouTube. I have to be careful with my words. And he settled. I think it was 23 million. 5 million went to the lawyers and 80 million went to the families, because they thought that they could hush it up and that it would go away. It turns out that Michael, towards the end, he was so thin, he was so tormented, it killed him. Of course, he took drugs and all of that. I think he had 2 cases, but he was acquitted of both. I tell you this, and it taught me a very, very, very deep lesson. About 15 years ago, something happened to me. I was accused of a terrible thing. What was worse was that it was a lie. I never... It would have cost me my marriage. And I said, let's go. Innocence means everything to innocent people. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I will never pay 1 dime for it to go away. Even if it means it costs me my entire brand, my homes, everything. I promise you, I'm calling it like it is. I will go to my accountant and I will ask him, how much do I have liquid? And whatever he tells me, I will leave for Adrian. I will leave for Ula. I'll get that tied up. Then I'll say, let's go. It took another 10 years for the truth to come out about my case. 10 years. It took 10 years. Did it hurt? It killed me. It hurt like hell. But I didn't do it. I tried. I wrestled with it many nights. And I cried. And it really hurt me. But I could not. I just could not. I couldn't let it go. And I think somewhere deep down inside I tried, because the birth of Adrian gave me unbelievable joy. And the flip side of it was, because of Adrian, now I didn't want to let it go. Because he had to know that his mother was a righteous, stand-up individual. It almost wants to make me cry. I say that because if this was a lie, the beatings, the trafficking, the sleeping with sex workers in different countries, if I was accused of that and so much more, and I didn't do it, let's go to court. Even if this thing takes 20 years, I would not settle. I would not settle. The money is not enough for me to settle. That's the thing. And that's what it showed with Michael. Michael thought, settle, it will go away. It killed him. The money that he thought, the brands, the companies, his music, his this, that, or whatever, it killed him. Dropped dead in the ground, 6 foot deep. Gone. The thing was, it's out there. So, for Cassie, it was a win-win. I will get my coin. But even the money that she's gotten, it will not erase and clean everything that has happened and give her a clean slate. It will not. She will have to live with this her entire life. And then his lawyer comes out talking about Puffy settling with Cassie doesn't necessarily mean that he's guilty. I wish Cassie all the best. It was such a rubbish statement that I don't even know why the lawyer agreed to put it out there. For me, it looked very much like Puffy said, go out and say this because the control and he wants to get some kind of order here. And they're calling me, they're telling me that I'm guilty and this. You are. Allegedly. And I think maybe you sat down and you didn't want this thing to get even worse. Perhaps because you began to look at your children, starting with your son, who put an homage about his mom, Kim. Then we had Kimora Lee come out. And of course, there were all kinds of things coming out, and they still will. About Tupac, how you got rid of this person, that person, how people have gone to jail on your behalf, how you've been blowing up cars, allegedly. If you were innocent of all of this, we go to town. I will dress up in designer duds every single day we go to court. There's no way you could put that on my name and stain it like that if I was innocent. But then again, hey, I speak for myself. And in some way, shape or form, the public court of opinion has turned out to be the judge and jury of this case that is the most effective. And that's the one that has the worst impact. Puffy, Star Island, staged or not, get used to it. Don't forget to like, to subscribe, hit the notification button, my darlings, and I will see you I will see you guys sooner than later. I am living and loving this here when I tell you. Let me know. I am thinking for my Brits that I should do Love Island. All kinds of islands. Love Island. Do you want me to review Love Island? And do you want me to review Big Brother in the UK? Let me come and start reviewing some English shows for you. All of my love. Have a wonderful week ahead of you. And as always, my darlings, I will be back sooner than later.